You're very welcome here to the Alley Theatre in Strabane to the last day of Tribes and Tribulations, a touring exhibition by award-winning artist Helen Merrigan Colfer. My name is Noele and I'm the curator of this exhibition. The exhibition has 30 sculptures that represent, I suppose, the artist's search and recognition of the theme of tribes and tribulations. And we came up with the idea because we felt that, particularly during lockdown, that we needed to reflect on our own mental health and our well-being. And I suppose really Helen's journey is very much representing through her sculptures and through her lockdown diary the importance of our arts, the importance of our self-expression and our creativity, and most of all, the importance of self-compassion and compassion for others. Because we were bringing it to this venue, we thought it was a really good idea to present some of Helen's sculptures on this scale because of the high ceilings, and we're indebted to Pat McCabe to install the exhibition because we needed height as well as the breadth of experience. And I suppose the important thing is that when you look at all the pieces of work, you know, her earlier work is very much, there's a lot of colour, there's a lot of vibrance, the reference to nature, the reference to being part of something that is healthy, you know, is very, very important. And that this idea of embracing nature, you know, is good for our health. Her ability to create and bring us into almost like an imaginary wonderland is very, very prevalent in our work. Not only are they skillfully made, but the treatment on the surface is very powerful. The colours that she uses, very, very decadent. And I can't help but think if these were almost like kinetic sculptures, what they would look like as well. And it's like the character is morphing into an animal and the animal is morphing into a human. These portraits here represent, I suppose, a time in lockdown and a reflection on this idea of a COVID queen and her younger self. And you can see throughout the exhibition there are a number of sculptures, but also alongside this we have taken pages of Helen's lockdown diary and we have shared this with the public. And what initially began as a very small series of notes to her mother-in-law Noreen during a time of cocooning when she came to stay with Helen and her husband Paul, the idea of sharing and welcoming her to see the exhibition, to welcome Noreen into their home, but also how Noreen felt nourished and supported, but also how Helen and Paul felt having Noreen stay with them, the impact on their lives is very powerful. And you know, this idea of the little diaries are here to be shared with the public, and they're beautifully illustrated. And I mean, Helen's drawing ability and her ability to capture the sentiments, the experiences of a lockdown, I suppose really represent as almost like a memoir of memories and experiences of a very happy time in which she, Helen, as an artist, her mother-in-law and Paul lived through a time when I suppose the world was at a standstill. And during that time of reflection and the journaling and the imagery, she also then went back and as a result of that created then this year a series of poems that complement her sculptures. These pieces here are very powerful. Helen, as a former art and design teacher, was always very interested in observing, you know, how children learn, but also as the child within ourselves needs to be nurtured and nourished. And if we're told we're not good enough, if we're told that we are incapable of reaching great things, we will keep ourselves small. And I can't help but think that these pieces in particular that address things like, you know, feeling disconnected, the importance of early years, the importance of building each other up rather than tearing each other down, this idea of addressing, irrespective of age, stage or gender, that we are good enough, that we are capable of great things, we just don't necessarily have the confidence, but the importance of finding a tribe that helps support us, nurture us and nourish us in all the trials and tribulations in life.
And last question, what is the importance of art?
Art for me is like a pulse. It's something that I do not know that I could live without. And it's not just art in the formal sense, it's creativity in the widest sense. I'm a great supporter of the great work of Sir Ken Robinson and the whole idea of unlocking creativity agenda and the importance of being self-expressed and feeling that you can express yourself in healthy ways, that you can use arts and culture and creativity, and with the support of those and in a safe space, that you can deal with really challenging issues. And I know from my own experience and the experience of others that even in losing loved ones, that there are ways and means in which we can use the arts to celebrate life rather than end life. So I'm on a bit of a mission to encourage people to embrace creativity, their own creativity.
What's your name?
Helen Merrigan, Colfer.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm an artist from County Wexford. I mostly do sculpture, but I also do painting and some poetry as well.
And what is the theme behind your works?
It's all about identity and trying to uncover why we wear masks and behave differently in different settings, and trying to understand more about myself through my work.
What did lockdown mean to you?
Lockdown was a gift. I excelled in lockdown, I loved it. I didn't have to go out and meet people because I would suffer from social anxiety quite a bit. And I also enjoyed the fact that a lot of other people who would be social animals began to understand what it's like to be in a bubble where you find it difficult to socially interact in group situations.
Why do you express yourself through sculpting?
Because I don't have to talk.
What mediums do you work in?
I work in a clay resin material that I'm on over steel armatures. I also have some of that work cast into bronze, and then I do mixed media paintings, and lately I use words as a medium as well, because I find that it's good to be able to express what a sculpture is like in hindsight after I've done it. You know, once I've got it done, the words can sometimes come. So,
What is your favourite piece and why?
my favourite pieces would be minimised and edit, and also the White Rabbit. And it's just purely because people of all ages can actually relate to the caricatures that are there, and it gets across in a kind of a safe way, this idea, and a kind of a slightly humorous as well, or funny, or cartoony, the way we can use masks to hide what is going on inside. And I think that they can relate very good to kids. You know, children can understand this thing of self-editing. This was based on a mini Mickey Mouse cartoon that I saw myself as a kid, where, you know, the artist kept rubbing out and editing the character, and in the end he took the pencil off the cartoonist and started rubbing himself and redoing himself to suit himself. So this was the idea that through society and conversations with people and how you're treated and interacted with, that you can continually self-edit, and at a young age it can be for the good or for the bad for your adult self.
Last question, what's the importance of art?
I think it's a great way, a safe way of getting across conversations about uncertain things or awkward situations, and that people can visually interact and appreciate the work without actually having to know exactly what the artist was meaning. And it's a good way of expressing your emotions, you know, so that you're not holding it in, you're actually getting it out, physically manifesting whatever is going on inside in the artist's head.
Perfect, thanks very much.